You're now sitting at the Wavetable.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the Wavetable. Episode 3 is featuring Valkin. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself, what kind of music you like, and produce, etc.?
Alright, so I'm Valkin. I like making industrial sounding EDM. I just like using different elements of ambient, melodic, or like gritty and heavy. I just like those dynamics to kind of pull together the full song.
Hell yeah. Yeah, your stuff is definitely quite unique to what I'm used to hearing. Especially given the length of your most recent track. It's like 6 minutes long, but most people these days are just doing like 3 to 4 minute tracks. Was there any reason for going 6 minutes, or was it just that you had too many ideas to fit into a shorter track?
It was kind of a mix of I wanted to get all these different ideas in, and kind of as I put them in, pacing wise, I feel like it made the most sense. It was pretty difficult to choose that I would want to make a song that long, especially for the first one, because obviously the question comes up is like, who's gonna listen to the full thing?
Yeah.
But I felt like it doesn't really matter. I'll just do whatever feels right for whatever song, not ever try to limit a song to the ideas. Like if a minute feels like it should be 2 minutes, make it 2 minutes. If it feels like it needs to be 10 minutes, just go for it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said for just producing the music you want to hear, because ultimately I think that's going to draw listeners in more than just trying to copy what's already popular. So at the start, I really love the melody, and it's also played during the breaks. Is that a sample or MIDI?
I think my friend and I worked together on creating that melody. So on the MIDI keyboard we got. And it's a mix of just playing around on the keyboard, and then after that, moving around notes to get like what sounds right. Because with melody writing, I'm not super knowledgeable on music theory, but I have a basic knowledge of what like the outline of scales are, and I only use that knowledge to just go out of it as much as it sounds right. I'm always kind of pushing myself to use as many notes on the keyboard as possible to give it that sort of eerie or dissonant feeling.
Yeah. A lot of people feel like they have to stick within the 7 notes of the scale, but that's really just not true. It's really whatever sounds good, and then as long as you return to bass, like the tonic of your track, you're pretty much good. And I gotta know, like, did you guys use RC20 retro color on that? Because it sounded like pretty wavy and stuff.
Isotope vinyl is actually what I ended up using.
Okay. Yeah.
So, that I used the warp tool a lot on that. For the most part, I try to use whatever plugins I can get for free at this stage, because there's a lot that are actually really dope for like not even costing anything.
Yeah, you kind of just got to get on the Google and go digging for them, because there's so much cool free stuff out there.
Yep, especially YouTube, like top 10 lists or for top 10 free plugins of certain years. Just go back.
Absolutely.
The biggest problem I've ran into is a lot of them are 32-bit.
Yeah.
And then you have to get I only just recently now that you have to use a program to convert those to make them work for Ableton. But
yeah, are you using JBridge or a different one?
Yep, JBridge. I have not bought it yet, but I used the demo for once and it worked pretty good, so I'll probably buy it pretty soon so I can start using all these different programs and plugins to get more of that vintage sound I really like.
Cool. Yeah, I used to use JBridge a lot for those random free 32-bit plugins, but I kind of ran into an issue where I would open a project that has a JBridge plugin and it just wouldn't load the plugin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. These days, if I really feel like I have to do it, I'll just like freeze the track before I save it just to make sure I'm safe.
Makes sense.
So all of your basses are fucking dope, and they kind of are they inspired by Gesaffelstein or however you say it?
Oh, you knew it, bro. You knew it so much. You just set my phone over the table. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. I think he's the OG.
Fuck yeah, man. He's
the best.
I don't know how you say it either. His LF album, that shit just hits so different to anything I'd ever heard before.
I would have to go check, but I think Aleph is in my top 10 favorite electronic albums just ever.
That's so good, man.
It's just so cool, especially for its time. He's like makes all these new sounds that were never heard before, like ever, in this really dynamic album that just has like the best energy, the best texture, and even all these like really nice ambient elements thrown in. It's definitely something I really want to shoot for.
It's like it's spooky as fuck, but also like very danceable, and I feel like it's just inspired a whole generation of upcoming producers.
Oh hell yeah!
So what synth do you use? Serum or?
I use a little bit of Serum. I actually honestly haven't gotten super deep into sound design yet. For the most part, I'll use presets or change those up a bit, or use whatever's in Ableton and just like throw up to like 20 to 40 different effects on it until it sounds really cool. So it's more of like an effect sort of way I go about sound design at the moment, using different plugins. Like, let me go look. I like using Moscow, which is kind of a version of the thing that adds different frequencies to a sound, so that will like keep it on a certain note, which is really good if your bass is repeating the same note.
So is it kind of a resonator?
Yeah, it's one of the resonators, so called Moscow, which is an Ableton suite. So that will really bring out the, note in whatever you're playing, a lot more frequency of what you're going for. So I use that to sort of keep the root note a little bit more obvious what it is in a sound. So a lot of just stuff like that, and combines with just distorting pretty normal sounding stuff to the point where it sounds really gnarly. Just a lot of stuff like that.
Cool. I really like using a resonator and then just distorting afterwards. It gives like a really nice tone. Like you said, it amplifies the main note, but you can still play other notes and have it sound great. It kind of like almost makes it like a chord, I guess.
Yep, it's like a cool way to kind of play with what note is actually being played, because you don't have to stick to a single note or a single frequency with the sound. It can be enriched with all these other things. It can be in between. It's not like a scale isn't something you have to stay stuck to completely, or even just the normal toning system. I definitely want to get into microtonal stuff later in the future, but that's a headache for sure. I don't know any good programs for that. You kind of just have to wing it.
Yeah, and I do like doing unique stuff, like stuff that's like left field, but I feel like microtonal stuff is kind of too far out to people to really want to listen to.
It's definitely super abstract. I would be up for a way of finding a middle there that could appeal to people. Finding a good mix between something that's really weird, something people haven't heard before, but something that isn't gonna scare too many people away.
Yeah. Maybe every now and then, instead of bending up a semitone, bend up like half a semitone or something. I don't know. Just something that's very, very temporary, and doesn't take up too much of the song.
Yeah, have you heard of King Gizzard?
Yes, but
they have a album called Microtonal Flying Banana. What they kind of do to make it sound normal is they'll stick on certain notes for a really long time.
Okay.
And sort of repeat that. And a lot of the riffs will have little licks that kind of climb up and down it, which is what sounds weird. but those aren't like overbearing. It's still very comprehensible for what they're trying to get across.
So they stick on certain notes to kind of like ease you into it and kind of make that your new standard until you finish listening to the album. Okay, cool.
Precisely.
So this might be a tough question because personally I don't remember shit about what I do when I write tunes. But I was curious what part of this track you actually wrote first.
Oh, okay. So it started out as I guess, sort of a demo. This guy who uses the stock version of FL Studio, he sent me over this sort of bass line. It was kind of just like the do-do-do-do-do. So that was just the main bass line that kind of goes up and down. So that's what he wrote. This guy's I'll link his SoundCloud
give
to
him a
you
shout
later. Yep, give him a shout out. He's awesome because he's built up this really cool catalog of stuff, and he hasn't even gotten out of the demo version of FL Studio.
Wow.
So it's sick. So I took that and just really started fattening it up and building around it, adding all the melodies, adding some more drums, adding, like real strong sub bass, just to like really make it pop. But the foundation he laid down was just like sick. I'm like, yo, this dude's awesome. And I really wanted to like give, fully flush out this idea that he kind of gave to me. It was it was really awesome.
Yeah. I just on a kind of related note, personally, I find it hard to write a track if I write the intro first, because I kind of build all this hype and then I get to the drop and I'm like, okay, like, everything I do is a letdown.
Yeah, so, I totally feel you.
If anyone struggles with that, I recommend writing the drop first.
Yeah, I think most of my favorite songs I've written so far are just like ones where I've sort of figured out the drop really early, and I'm just like, oh, that's what's good, and that's what I want to start building around.
So how many have you actually written? Because this is the only one on your SoundCloud, right?
So I've that's the only one that's only me that's out so far. There's currently a remix I did of one of Rezz's tracks, however you say his name. Blind, which was a song when I first heard, I instantly liked it because of just kind of the jumpiness of it. It was really cool, punchy song with like all these really cool sounds. So I'm like, I'm probably gonna reach out to this guy, and we became pretty good friends, just talking a lot.
Nice. Yeah, I think I've seen him a lot on Insta.
Something. Yep, he's pretty cool. His visuals that he gets for all of his stuff are crazy good.
I wonder how much he pays.
Yeah, he just goes, I think, on Fiverr or something, pays some artist. I wasn't even like, he told me how much it was. I'm like, yeah, I would pay that much for something that dope. That's pretty good. So yeah, it definitely got me thinking I want to start hiring artists to do artwork. Like, I can do some myself, but not to the point where I'd want to do everything,
Yeah, I've been wanting to delve into like the 3D art just for videos and stuff, but that's like a whole nother world. It must take so much time. So
it's a whole nother rabbit hole. Yeah, I have just a friend who will do all the 3D sculpting stuff I need, like for the mask I've got for Valkin. You want to see that?
Hell yeah!
You're gonna be the first person, I guess. Well, this will be the first time this mask is going to be shown on social media.
Instead of face reveal, it's mask reveal.
Yeah, show my face first and then the mask. So I'm going to get a full like outfit together for him. Dope. And like there's not even a strap to keep him on, but for the actual mask part, it's pretty much complete.
Dude, that's fucking sick.
So yep, my friend and I kind of worked together on this. He did all the sculpting, which is all 3D printed, and then kind of just worked with someone to paint it. And then there's some kind of mesh material that I can see through that looks totally black from far away, but I really like how it turned
Doctor
out.
type shit.
And I can't wait to like promote and like do shows with it.
Yeah, man, there's gonna be like so many cool photos you can get with that.
And go to real creepy locations and whatnot. And I want to be like that guy. So like pretty much there's like a whole set of like DJs. And then people are like, okay, but who's that guy with the weird bird head?
Right. Yeah.
You know, kind of try to be remembered like that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yup.
So I'm not really deep into the industrial based genre. Like probably Gesaffelstein is probably like the only inspiration of yours that I might know. Is there any other artists out there that you'd recommend for someone who's looking to get into it?
Oh, definitely. I think the two most obvious ones would be Rezz and 1788L. You've probably heard of those guys.
Yeah.
I guess I'll look through my SoundCloud, my Spotify kind of artists real quick to recommend some, I guess, smaller artists, because when you kind of dig pretty deep into sort of a subgenre, you start finding these like really underappreciated artists where you find it's like, well, they sound way better than like all these people who are like mainstream playing to thousands of people. Like these really innovative, really creative people. So I'll look through and try to list some names.
Yeah, because they'll be like pushing it rather than sticking to the stuff that they know everyone's gonna like.
So I'll start out with a pretty well-known band. It's just 9 Inch Nails, of course.
Oh yeah,
know about them, but they're pretty much the kings of industrial music in general, from what I've gathered. I really like them for their mix of, acoustic and electronic, because they'll have albums that are completely acoustic and then ones that are like pretty much half and half, and just with really powerful vocals. Like through looking through a lot of artists, there's like sort of no one else who lives up to that bar that has been set, and they've been doing it forever.
Yeah, I really love how they're kind of not afraid to just throw shit at the listener and like almost on the verge of noise music at times. But it's totally still somehow engaging. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is why they get a pass for totally just assaulting your ears is because they don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Of course, some people really are a big fan of constant like beating to your ears, but that's not my personal cup of tea. I like having breaks where you can kind of breathe and then it comes back and just like sort of has that impact. I think there's a lot more impact when you have that breathing room, for sure. Yeah, I think one of my favorite artists right now, some of his stuff is industrial, some of it's more experimental. He's called Sab Roy. It's a really weird name.
Yeah, I know that name.
He's really cool. He's definitely like some of the most punchy, ear-catching music I've heard from one of these really underappreciated artists, for sure.
Yeah. I remember, I think I listened. He's definitely got like not enough followers. Like I think when I listened to him, he had like 3,000, maybe not even that. And that would have been only like a year or two ago. So definitely go check out Sabroy. Yeah.
Yep. He's dope. I'll try to find one more artist to kind of tell you about, I guess.
Yeah. While you're doing that, what kind of other stuff do you listen to?
So I guess pretty much most kinds of EDM. Just a lot of house music. Yeah, that's, I guess, just all kinds of EDM. There's not a whole lot of genres I'm not a fan of, I guess. At least every genre would have a song I like there.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I hate it when people just completely disregard a whole genre because they've only heard bad tunes from it.
Yep, like I couldn't really go and listen to like future bass or something for 5 hours straight. or I can't listen to like rhythm for like 10 hours straight or something, which is what a lot of sets are. But like some stuff that comes out of those genres is just like so sick.
Yeah,
it's just if you look hard enough in a genre you think you might not be the biggest fan of, you'll definitely find some stuff that's like, oh wait, that's actually really sick. Lots of stuff like that. Like sure.
Probably don't look at the top artists and don't look at the bottom artists, but look at the artists who are like kind of on the rise, you know, because they're going to be the ones who are still within the genre, but they're pushing the boundaries.
For sure.
And so I was wondering, what else do you do outside of producing? Because I'm kind of trying to get more of a perspective of a producer's world as a whole now, rather than just the music stuff.
Yeah, I would say probably my biggest hobby besides doing music is rock collecting, actually.
Oh,
really cool. Like crystals and gem formations, all that sort of stuff, fossils. I do a combination of going to shows to collect the ones I really like how I look, and actually going to locations to start digging for them. It's like all of that. That's I really enjoy doing stuff. It's like, I think my favorite version of, I guess, Mother Nature sort of taking its hand at doing artwork. That's kind of how I view it. It's like totally natural, completely like organic, reformed works of art, and I just think that's really fascinating.
Do you ever sample rocks? Just make random noises?
I'll just show you like my whole case, but like stuff like
damn.
I like the stuff that's like a crystal that's like on a matrix, so it like pops out of it. I'll probably maybe whenever I'm like stuck for a name on a track, I might just pick some little known I guess stone to sort of name something after.
Yeah, you could build a whole brand around that. I mean, obviously you've got Valkin and the Mask already, but maybe another project in the future or something.
Perhaps that could be a pretty cool idea. I think I have another artist I want to sort of bring some, I guess, to talk about. This guy called One True God. I really like him because he has these really simple, really clean drops with these basses that just shoot right through your speakers and like right into your body. It's just like sort of this level of mixing and I guess presence of a song that feels pretty unmatched, especially for clean, simple basses and drums.
Yeah, there's something about really cool. Clean. I don't know if you listen to G House, but like the bass that's in like every single G House track just hits so fucking hard.
Definitely. There's like, and it's easiest for bass to hit the hardest because it's something if you got a subwoofer, you feel just as much as listen to. It's definitely my favorite frequency within the spectrum. That's sort of what led me to wanting to focus the bass drops on the bass, sort of take everything out for a moment and just let the kick drum and the bass line do the speaking for a good amount of time to sort of, I guess, kind of have the most impact.
Absolutely. And then you can like bring in the hats or the melody or whatever like in the next bar or two.
Like it doesn't have to be boring just because it's simple. You can like progress things over time.
Just subtle variations of the rhythm as well works wonders. So when you start a track, do you have like a template or anything, or do you just start completely from scratch?
I guess completely from scratch. I'll either look through samples or even look through YouTube for little ideas I'd like, or I'll start with sound designing, just throw like huge lines of effects and play with the knobs, which is like it's a really euphoric thing to do because you're creating all these otherworldly sort of sounds from scratch that no one else has ever heard before. It's just kind of cool. It's not that every single thing you come out with is usable, but it's fun to just not limit yourself to what you use and just create the weirdest things you can. But yeah, for like starting, I sort of have like a lot of different ways I'll start a track, because not one has proven to be completely successful for me. You know, I feel like I'm willing to start a track in any way possible, and not like oh, I don't want to start that way.
I guess in art it kind of it kind of detracts from the art to have a formula to it, I guess. And yet what you said about sound design, I feel like a lot of people have a sound in their mind that they're trying to make, and then from the get-go they're tweaking knobs in Serum to try to get close to that sound. But it can be really cool if you just make like a pretty simple source sound, and then you put on a bunch of processing like saturation, distortion, compression, and then you go back into the synth and you change one knob by like 1% and it sounds completely different. Like, just anyone who hasn't done that, just give it a shot. It's so cool.
I think, wasn't it Mr. Bill who was sort of telling a bunch of people to go and do that?
Yeah, Mr. Bill's fucking great.
He's awesome.
Do you listen to his podcast?
Oh, I do not. I don't listen to podcasts all that often.
Yeah, I would recommend it, but a lot of the episodes are like 2 hours long, so it might be a bit much.
I've watched like 7-hour videos of Virtual Riot creating like songs from scratch, so that should be no problem. For sure.
Dope. Yeah, there was this fucking guy, do you know Ankle Pants?
I don't think I've heard of him.
Okay, I hadn't heard of him either until I heard Mr. Bill talk about him. He does this wacky ass music, and he has like a mask where the nose is a dick.
Actually, I have seen that thing around. That thing's weird.
And it moves as well.
Do they do shows with that thing? Because I would definitely go.
Yeah, man.
Bro, I gotta get to that.
I tried to watch a set. It was like 40 minutes long or something. I could only make it like 10 minutes in.
I bet he's just like headbanging the whole time. It's just like...
He's actually singing as well. Like it's pretty cool. Like creatively, it's pretty cool, but it's just not my thing, you know.
Yeah, I feel you.
Oh man. So what are you working on at the moment? You got any more releases coming up?
Yeah, I think I'll try to release this one track this month. So what I did recently is I think I've been using Ableton for 2 years now, and I only recently actually bought something else besides Ableton, which was some sample packs.
Oh, really?
Sort of for industrial. I bought 2 sound packs for industrial sounds and one for sort of more ambient cinematic stuff. So the second I just started opening that pack, I just put together something that like kind of instantly became one of my favorite things I've ever made, I guess.
Like massive inspiration.
I'm really looking forward to dropping that, because it should be quite the step up from what I've released so far.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool actually that you've waited this long to buy packs, because when I started producing, I just went around and like I got everything that I could find, and then you don't really value it. You kind of just take it for granted. But yeah, these days I've stopped downloading as like all those free sample packs and stuff, and I cherish every single sample that I get pretty much. Especially if you're using Splice, like you don't have to buy a whole pack to get stuff that you like.
For sure. I've been tempted to get Splice. It looks like a pretty cool deal.
It's it's kind of hard to find out there stuff. Like, sometimes I'll be looking for like monsters or alien sound effects and stuff, and they've just got these like cringe-worthy stock ones for games. So yeah, sometimes I just have to make those myself.
Yeah, how much have you like gone into looking on YouTube for sounds?
I need to look into that because I tend to stay away from sampling YouTube as much as possible because I just don't want to run into those copyright issues and shit. But I heard that there's like a free sound library on YouTube. I think Frequent was recommending it, maybe. So yeah, that's on my to-do list, but I just haven't got around to it yet. Yeah,
copyright really won't likely come up as an issue if you're like sampling just random videos that like are super obscure or like barely got anyone's to watch. Like my personal favorite ones are these really creepy, cryptic YouTube videos that have all these really cool like glitchy sounds and whatnot.
Cool.
So there's like definitely a big arsenal on what's YouTube. The trouble is actually finding it.
Right.
Because of course, if something's obscure, you don't really know where to find it. So like, just look on playlists for like certain sounds if you think it might show up there. For example, I like creepy sounds, so I look through creepy playlists for different sort of weird things I can find.
Hell yeah, I got to check that out because I really want to put more creepy sounds in my stuff as well.
Dope. Yeah, I'll send you some playlists or videos that I think have really cool sample potential. Especially there's like this one performance art guy who just like slaps clay and mud on his face, which first of all gets like cool percussive sounds.
Yeah.
But what I really like about him is he has these really weird like grunts and screams. So that's like just perfect. And he always like records in these super reverby rooms. So there's already really dope reverb on them. That was like one of the first things that even pushed me to wanting to produce, because I was watching this creepy video way before I ever got Ableton or any other DAW. And I'm like, that's a really cool sound. I wonder what that would be like in a song. So that's pushed me to start looking into it.
Dude,
so
that's so
always
cool
had
that you thought that before you were even a producer.
Like I wouldn't even know what to call it. Like I didn't really know what sampling was. Hardly even knew people did it, but already had that idea that I kind of wanted to do that. So sampling is definitely one of my favorite things for music production.
Hell yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, we're just about at time here. So is there anything else?
That was quick.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to shout out before we finish?
Yeah, shout out to Rezz for being awesome.
Hell yeah.
The guy I made the remix of. We've had a great time working on that. Was a big fan of the original song. He's just an awesome guy.
Dope.
Sure. And check out my website, Valkin.net is sick. My friend made it. He is the coolest person on the planet for making it for me.
You got them hookups,
it's
man.
Dope. Go type in Valkin.net right now into your computer if you can. It's dope.
Do it.
It's awesome.
Cool. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning into episode 3 of the Wavetable. I'm Astroreign signing out with guest Valkin, and yeah, check out Valkin.net. Peace.
All right. See ya.